pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Silence. Thank you. Welcome to the Troy Township School Corporation work session of the Board of School Trustees, Tuesday, February 17th. Roll call. All members are present. Hannah is going to be late. She's here. Hannah has arrived. Adoption of the agenda Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion we adopt the agenda.
Thank you, Larry. No communications from the public. New business.
All we have is our discussion with UDA on the auxiliary gym. So Brett and Jason are here to kind of show you where we've landed and button down the last little bit of things. Mr. Lyons is out today with COVID, but Brad and Chris should be down shortly.
Is there a new wave of COVID going around?
We have flu A and B and COVID and strep hitting us all right now. So about 89% attendance at the high school, about 78 at William Tell.
I think Hancock County schools were closed this week because of illness.
Yeah. We reported today to the health department for the first time because we get under 80%. We have to notify them, but we don't have to close necessarily. So we're disinfecting and reminding kids to wash hands and stay home if they're sick. So.
Well, I guess we'll kind of kick it off here. Appreciate you guys making time for us to look at things.
We'll go over some site plans and then let Jason take over on the building.
Yeah.
And you can chime in as you need to here. So these first sheets are erosion control. So just to explain a little bit, we're disturbing more than an acre, so we do have to submit for erosion control and stormwater detention. So for the construction operations, this is a temporary basin that will be converted to a permanent stormwater detention, but don't let the word basin scare you, because when it's done, it's going to be a gradual slope into an outlet that has an orifice, just depression in the yard that is completely movable. So you even run around in there, it'll be drained out with some seepage tile and everything. So it's pretty minimal for the project, but it's going to, I'll explain some more. We have to tell where topsoil is. A construction entrance is going to come in down here. I'll get into some more grades. So these first three sheets is what gets submitted off to IDEM for that erosion control permit. The erosion control narrative, this is everything that IDEM will look at, and it basically explains everything we're putting in place to get that permit. Same thing here, they like to see construction entrance, concrete washout, just standard details. Other than the first sheet, the next two sheets are pretty standard on all of our projects we submit, except for the narrative that we change. And feel free to just holler if you need me to explain more as we go through this. This is going to be the details. So this is a skimmer device for the construction. So it's basically, the sediment control during construction. So this gets dug out. Everything sheet flows where it's all dirt and whatnot. This skimmer thing here, it rains, mud water comes in, it floats, only lets the clean water out. That's actually a new item that they just brought in about 5 years ago. That all gets taken back out at the end of the project, and then we shape it, this basin, so it doesn't look like a basin, back into basically pushing these grades out and smoothing that to where it's just going to be a yard drain right there. You'll kind of see that coming up. So some stuff this was demolition. I think it takes a little bit to clear up here, but we were talking just a minute ago, and that's, John, where that should be fine.
You will make Chris Solomon extremely happy if you tell him you can keep that tree.
I don't like losing trees.
It's the tree.
Well, there's that
That's a
tree.
shade
Any
tree.
Yeah, is this the demolition?
Cross country, yeah.
It's a little hard to see, but obviously know where the gym is going and where we're connecting in here. So one tree up here, it looks like the older, not so good looking tree does have to go, but the one further out is safe. There's one out here that's safe, and this one's debatable yet that we're communicating with the water company. There's a main water line running through here. We do have to bring sprinkler into this corner anyways, so we're connecting that water line there and bringing it around the building and back over, and then bringing sprinkler in there. We have to stay 10 feet away from storm sewers and everything up there where that water line might get too close to that tree to where it's like, okay, we're going to try this, but sometimes you get too close to them and they die. Other than that, the rest of them are all staying except for in this courtyard right here. So pretty minimal. Keeping these along here and then these down in here. So see if I can zoom in here. Do this.
I think you double tap it to get it going. Having said that, with trees, like, I don't want to block the view. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want people to be able to drive by and be like, look at that. You know, I don't want to be covered. They gotta go, they gotta go.
Yeah, we
The only one that I would question
anticipation
that-
someday these get too big.
It's good. You gotta do what you gotta do, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I want it visible, right?
The only one I would question, you know, like, these are kind of in good spots. It'd be this one if that's the one you want to, you know, to have that front look from the parking lot.
I don't disagree. I think the whole point of this building is to be seen, so that one, if it's right in the middle of it, I'd rip it out.
All right.
And I don't care about the one on the right. It can stay or it can go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How far from the building is that tree?
This one? I'm gonna have to pull that open to answer that question.
The roots.
How far from the sidewalk? That gives an idea. What's the sidewalk to the?
Oh, you're saying right here. How far is that?
No, I'm talking, the one like.
The right one.
This one?
The one in the middle part, yeah.
Oh, it's maybe 9,
How far is
12
that
feet.
from the building?
It's like 9, 12 feet.
Yeah, probably 12-ish,
Yeah.
I'd say, to the center.
Maybe even more, 15 feet. And like, we can get an exact measurement if you want that.
Because the roots of it, there would be a problem with the concrete around the building or in any house.
It's probably far enough away. The ones that are more, like, I shouldn't say more concerning, but they've been there a long time, are these older ones that are up against your existing building. We were just looking at that, and eventually that kind of gets in, cause some problems. But these are far enough away to where even footings and whatnot in storm sewers that we have to bring through here wouldn't get affected. Okay, so I do want to, there's kind of a question here. We'll focus on this. So right now what we're showing is, you know, a 5-foot wide sidewalk coming in and then just curving up and going along the building and then 12-foot wide. And then this is either landscaping or grass. I didn't know if anybody has any comments on that. We could, what we're doing with downspouts, and so this drains, there is an area drain out here. But if you're like, let's make that 12-foot wider, you know, and have a shorter landscape strip, we could do that and still work out. This was just kind of, our civil engineer put a placeholder on there to see if anybody had any comments on these two little courtyard areas.
Don't get mad at me, but that's sun coming up this way. It's gonna get it from the south on this one. Not gonna get any western sunshine. Don't get mad. Be perfect. We don't have to maintain it. Artificial turf it.
I wasn't gonna say turf, but I don't disagree that I want something low maintenance, maybe flower pots and planters and things like that, but not necessarily grass.
Not grass. It's not
Yeah, because
green
my
landscape, nice
thought
rest.
before I saw
Yeah.
this was it was gonna be a kind of a concrete plaza.
The whole thing.
The whole thing, kind of like you have in front of the other gyms, you know.
Well, we gotta get rid of that water then.
And that can be done, you know, because we have to have a drain out there. Basically, we were trying to slope away from the existing building, slope away from this building, so there's a storm sewer line that comes through here that we can catch all that with just some nice ADA compliant, you know, catch for like a
Yes.
grate
Mhm.
that you can walk over. So it's how fancy do you want to get? Because you know, we could even,
Well, if we grass it, it's gonna have to be maintained. And then if it doesn't need sunlight, it's gonna turn to mud.
Mm-hmm.
Because grass is.
I definitely wouldn't grass it, in my
It's either
opinion.
concrete or rock
I
or
would,
dirt.
I would make
Rock.
this,
Don't wanna do rock.
this kind of a concrete plaza going up in there, you know, or a 5-foot strip of landscaping and make it a wider, you know, too, you could have some nice bushes along that edge, but,
It's gonna be relatively flat there.
pretty flat. That's why we have to put an area drain in there to catch, like, if there's not enough sheet flow to get it out of there. So yeah, this is all really flat through here, so.
I
We'll
prefer
put
hardscaping it.
two area drains in there. And we're not talking like a ball, a 1/4 inch per foot to these drains, just so it drains out.
You prefer what,
I
John?
would prefer hardscaping it. I feel like it's gonna be so shaded that nothing's gonna thrive there. And like Tony said, it's gonna be muddy if we try to get grass in there. Plus, if we go in there and mow, grass clippings are gonna go everywhere and mud's gonna go
There's
everywhere.
gonna be a leaf catch.
Yeah.
And
Or
no,
there's some kind of bushes we could put there that don't require much water.
I'm not a botanist, but what I would say is people leaving and coming and going are gonna congregate there waiting on kids and things like that. So I don't see it as a bad thing to have a big open area there where they can do that. And then maybe have, like I said, some potted plants or some sort of hardscape there,
Or some benches, like
benches, water
that.
feature.
Kids are waiting on rides and such, those out there by
Yeah.
the oxygen or.
Yeah. So that would be my vote, just to hardscape the whole thing.
Hardscape it for now.
Mhm.
So just kind of up to this corner, just, you know, just make that a concrete.
Mhm.
We could even,
Everybody don't have to maintain.
yeah, that's why, even if we went a little bit nicer to do like a 4x4 group pattern or something,
Mhm.
you know, or a stand, yeah.
Mhm.
It's 40 feet, especially there because it is such a nice entry point.
Well, you joke about that, but we can have the concrete stained. That
Yeah.
wouldn't be that expensive.
It's 12, right?
Do the Marksman logo or something.
So 30.
We're actually looking at doing that in the cafeteria, pulling up all that tile and then having the concrete stained with the Marksman logo and that kind of stuff. So that wouldn't be a terrible thing to do out there and kind of make it a focal point.
Is that something you want us to get in on this before it goes out? Or is that something,
Do you have that on
make it
CAD, John?
concrete and,
Do I have it what?
On CAD?
We've got the drawings. We've been working with Ian Reed, is that right?
yeah, Superior?
Yeah, he's the one that's been looking at our cafeteria floor,
We can
so.
reach out to and, you know, it's a nice area and I agree, like this, you know, it's very similar to what you're seeing out here,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah, this is a pain. I don't want to deal with that.
yeah. But I was thinking it would just be concrete
Mhm.
So
all the way in.
way back when, that's what I envisioned too, and I ended up here. It'd be nice to be able.
We could reach out to him
It wouldn't hurt.
and then see if there's something, you know, that'd be cool, walking in.
Mhm. And it can always be done after the fact. Just leave the concrete plain and poured, and then they can come in and do the finishing treatment on it.
Yeah,
later if we
and
wanna do
that might be, I know they have done, if you like an application afterward,
Mhm.
and it's like an epoxy coating that they
Yep.
put down, and to remove it, you will actually remove the top surface of the concrete.
Right.
Still grind it.
Yeah. And so that's always an option too.
Mhm. You can reach out to him and see what it would, or what his recommendation would be, to do it now or to wait.
Yeah, that's what I think we need to do.
That'd be fine with me.
Okay, so kind of do that there and probably the same here.
I'm okay with that.
You know, and probably over here, it would come straight off that corner. That does come into that door right here.
Perfect.
So as they come in and
All the way down to the concrete walkway.
now,
I'm okay with that stretch of grass there.
okay,
It's gonna see sun and it's gonna be fine, yeah.
Sun, yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
all right. That was, as far as, you know, it's a pretty simple site. How do I untap it? So other than that, we got exit doors over here, just straight out to this main sidewalk at the north parking lot. And then we have a door here. This is a drive. It's hard to see.
That's the overhead door?
The
Yeah.
overhead door and then.
Will that be concrete or asphalt?
I was thinking concrete, but it was
I was curious.
that little bit of work is,
I agree. I just was curious.
you ain't gonna save money with asphalt, and then it's maintenance. So yeah, that's kind of your drive access off the
Off the parking lot?
parking lot here,
Perfect.
and then this is just get people in there. So that's really the gist of the site improvements for this project. Pretty minimal, which is good. You know, not a lot of cost there.
I will add that we are adding a couple of light poles.
Yeah, we'll
Catch a part of that.
show that down here a little further.
I did ask for that just because the lighting out in that end of the parking lot is so sparse. I figured we're gonna build this and we're gonna have a lot more people coming and going, that we ought to have some better lighting out there.
Yeah, it's pretty far out there.
Mhm.
And then I'll show you that here in a minute, but real quick, this is, if anybody's familiar with grading, so floor lines match. That brings these corners up a bit. That existing sidewalk comes through here, which is a low spot that we'll be filling, but really flat, getting storm drainage in here, flat storm drainage in there. This sidewalk will look really similar to the one that's out there now, a long gradual slope out. So this corner of the building sticks up out of the ground a little bit. Like, you won't notice it, it'll just be facade. But once we get past the sidewalk, we're going to grade down pretty quickly. And then this is where we have uniform slope in that whole yard area coming down to that permanent storm detention area. So basically, storm sewers come, picking up downspouts come this way. We are changing this a little bit. They're actually going to pick up here and come through right here and around. Leaving this area open, so if this would ever get expanded on, that we would have to put underground in there, just some backup chambers, which is N12 36-inch pipes, but that can all be done down the road. Right now, we're keeping it a belly in the yard to meet code and to save some dollars. If that's okay with everybody. Like, this is kind of just our thoughts and presentations here. So then, here you can see the two lights are getting added and tied back in to here. Electrical rooms down in here. We do have this line on here, John shown, this main electric line coming through here. It's like a ground box there that then crosses over. So the hope is, we originally were going to bring electric into this corner and come out in between the drive and the sidewalk and then turn down to this. It's a 3-phase line pole down there, but hopefully we can put a ground box right there and come right in, which sounds like we're going to get some help with that,
Pretty receptive to helping us out.
which is great.
So that's a 3-phase underground.
Yeah,
They're gonna tap it.
yeah.
The plan.
That's the plan. We have to, right now, we were just thinking we were gonna run back to the pole, but then looking at it out there, it's a 3-phase line that clear cuts across your property. And it's like, usually they can put a new ground vault in right here and then feed the meter right there, which, and on that corner of the building is where we will have the transformer. CT cabinet and a meter. So there's gonna be a little bit of mechanical stuff out, but that's a good corner to put it back by that garage door. Sanitary sewers just running out and tapping in down here.
I'm sorry, did you say we'll have another meter?
Yes, unless you want us to reevaluate that.
I just know we're gonna catch another monthly fee for having another
Right.
meter.
We're
We're nowhere near where the other meter is, that's the problem, right?
right.
Okay.
It's staying over in the corner over here
Uh-huh.
by the
Yeah.
chillers.
Well, I knew it didn't come in over here because we were talking about it and I was like, thinking about where that was.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know where this big 3-phase line was going.
Where does it go?
And I
On
think
the
that,
road?
that might be,
I don't know what it's serving, but
we need to ask.
How much of a month?
Is your power coming here or down there in that thing?
Pretty sure.
That's what.
Yeah. That's where
The
the
monster box.
7 kVA room is.
The main
Yeah.
distribution.
Yeah, so,
John, do you know how much a monthly fee they would add? For the meter?
It's gonna be 3-phase, so it's gonna be.
not off the top of my head, but this is the same thing we're talking about, like softball. Every meter costs its own monthly fee.
So if
So-
you want us to look at what it would take to come back out of that room, you're probably running through the building
Absolutely are, and the length of the building.
Or cut the concrete.
or
burying it.
cutting the concrete. So it's a lot of upfront costs versus long-term, but long-term is a long time.
do you want to have a discussion with Andy to see what that might be before we make a decision?
Because we have to, about this whole tapping in here with that big 3-phase line. We're gonna have a conversation with the electric department. And
Is the pool, all the pool pumps, are they 3-phase? They're 3-phase there?
I don't know, Tony, I don't. I'm not 100%
You
sure.
have to look at capacity, see if there's a spot for, what's the capacity of this building approximately? Do you have any idea?
yeah, it's way down at the bottom. Not much, 400 amp.
400 amps. So we'll need a spot for 400 amps in existing if that's even an option.
In the box we got, right?
We'll have to call Andy to see. I don't know that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, bringing 3-phase in, so there's options there. Like what our original plan was, we're coming off the power pole, setting a new transformer, a meter, and into just this electrical room for the gym, but we can definitely reevaluate that. And it's a matter of, we put the electrical room on the far corner of the gym and the other one's on the far corner of the school.
Yeah, let me get some information. That's probably the way we're gonna go, I would wager, but so I don't wanna overload what we've got.
And our guys might have looked at that. Yeah, we need to, I talked with Adam pretty quickly about this. And he was like, yeah, we're gonna go out and grab that 3-phase line. So he didn't really tell me why.
Yeah, and I know we studied it from the culinary arts project, so maybe. that's
Yeah.
part of it too.
John, am I wrong in saying that some of that switch gear is at maximum anyway? Remember, we had trouble a few years ago.
I think so.
We're probably not gonna have 400 amps available.
That's what I'm worried about. We may have a little bit extra, but I don't know that we've got enough.
And you probably don't want to use it
There's always.
What are you supposed to say, 80%?
Probably.
75-80%.
That's 80%. That's what you designed everything to.
So we
Not in there.
probably need to go that way anyway.
We haven't talked about it.
Every little bit of savings,
Sure.
that's,
See what they're not. It's fine. It's not. It's a three-phase, so it's more than the normal. But I don't know how much it is. Huh?
The other thing we have to look into is some of you guys, I have heard through another project that Tell City passed an ordinance that you now have to meter your sprinkler line. Have I heard that?
I don't know about that.
That's
So that is, yeah, it is a big project we were working on here not too long ago. It's like, well, you gotta bring a 6-inch sprinkler line in and that has to now be metered. We've never heard of that anywhere else. I heard that from the superintendent, but I never got any clear,
Our water department superintendent?
I never got any clear information on that. So,
That would be
and then
news to me.
that piece got taken off. I was like, if you have to put a 6-inch meter on a line that never gets used, that's some hefty fees.
Yeah,
Because you're paying it.
yeah, you're paying a monthly minimum no matter
6-inch
what.
water line feeds Toyota, you know? Tonka.
Well, and that's the only reason I
Not
asked that about
even,
that
you know.
meter, because we're currently working on our softball field, and there are 3 meters there. That was one of the things Andy recommended, was consolidating all of those meters into one
Yeah,
to save me 3 service
Sure.
fees.
Absolutely.
So when you said that, that's why I went that way, but we may not have an option.
Yeah.
so now that we have all of our loads and design done, one of our last pieces is basically connecting the utilities,
Mhm.
you know, so that's,
I just emailed both of you Andy's contact information, so you can reach out to him. And
You know, I've worked with him on some other stuff too, so that's perfect.
all right. Let's see. Other than that, utilities, pretty straightforward there too. That's probably the biggest question is, you know, electric.
And that, right, just for example, that, you know, I think you mentioned it, but that's the construction entrance, so everybody's gonna be coming in that side, just so you see it. Aware of the site perspective.
Yeah,
A lot of staging.
temporary basin right here in the corner. There's plenty of room.
Out of everybody's way.
Yeah, not bogging down the whole parking lot. That gets you.
I know the band was worried
Yeah, and we
about
need to,
summertime.
if there is a need to coordinate a little bit of usage of that, we'll have to talk, but that's probably more
well, it
pre-construction.
won't be convenient, but we can line William Tell's parking lot for the band. So
I think
I don't
it'll
think
be
they're gonna be in
fine.
there.
Yeah. I don't think you'll need to do any of that.
the other issue we'll have is that parking lot is where our buses run for pickup. So we need to make sure we can still get kids out there to load buses and go. And that will be an ongoing thing because I don't have a place where I can put those buses of an evening.
Sure.
If we put them into the student parking lot, it becomes a nightmare. More than a nightmare with 200 plus student drivers in there. And on the other side, all the parents and staff are parked and
Yeah.
coming in and out. So I pretty much have to dismiss from that area. So we need a safe egress point from the building to that parking lot during
Yeah, what do
construction.
you think about this sidewalk then as far as phasing?
Yeah, we gotta find
That's
temporary
right where
egress
you want it,
point.
meaning that's the best spot for it.
Mhm.
But if I phase the project to say, because first thing they're gonna do is cut off your existing sidewalk to start foundations
Mhm.
and earthwork, really, you know, to build the building pad.
Right.
So it's like, that's gonna have to be done over the summer, which is good timing, with the schedule we're coming out with. So it's like earthwork and everything, and then get this in place, and you gotta work around it. That's all we can do.
Well, the north side of the north side of the building has a sidewalk by the student parking lot. Will that still stay intact? Like this whole thing?
Yes,
You know, we can at least use that to get it close and we can cut it down.
Across the grass.
We could put something temporarily down.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, even if they built a sidewalk.
Yeah.
Just something quick.
Wouldn't hurt to have a sidewalk there anyway. Right.
Well, there's gonna be one
Yeah,
when it's done,
It's
but
connected
yeah.
this to there.
Mhm.
Cause I've parked down here before thought, well, gosh, I gotta walk across this wet grass.
Yeah,
which is a good question. Right now, we're coming out of these doors and going to this parking lot. Is there any reason you want that sidewalk to continue down, to have full access around?
it wouldn't hurt.
And I
I'm
honestly
almost
think,
wondering if you couldn't make us a sidewalk from the corner of the parking lot up to the other sidewalk. That's plenty away from the thing, right?
oh yeah,
That's what I'm saying, yeah. We
Yeah.
can do that.
That's what I was
If we needed to utilize them, man.
If we can do that, then we'll just block off those two exits and tell the kids they've gotta go out, student lot door, walk down the sidewalk and then cut across, and then they're not anywhere near your construction area.
Because they're gonna have, even if you put that sidewalk in first, they're still gonna have traffic across it and
Yeah,
it's gonna be a mess.
so that may be the first thing we do is put in a sidewalk from the sidewalk to the corner of the band parking lot, there to there, yep.
and that would stay.
Stay,
You might as well put it in, spend the money to where it would be another connection point.
I think so.
Useful for other reasons.
Yeah, I think it'll get used a lot. Does now, everybody just walks through the grass.
Mhm.
Or even closer to that, I mean, it's farther walk, but closer to that building would be usable more so after the fact.
Well, if we do that, we could just have the concrete coming out of the building and straight to that sidewalk this way. Then you wouldn't have to have sidewalk all along that side of the
Fences and
building.
thing then. To keep them out.
Just tie into that.
Yeah, I think that'd be good, because this is gonna be heavy traffic through here.
Right. That's what I've been worried
That
about this whole
sidewalk
time,
really
yeah.
needs to be the last thing that goes in.
Right,
I think that's a good plan.
yeah, and like you said, concrete's cheap, so let's build the sidewalk.
Yeah, and, we'll quickly take a look at grades, but I don't think, this is flat, like this kind of sheet flows that way. So we're stopping that's perfect. It's just gonna be cutting it through the existing yard right now.
That can go. And I've got other options in mind. We talked about this. So if something's gotta go, we will come up with it for 1 year.
We're gonna use this parking lot and that parking
I
lot
agree. I'm just-
a lot more now with this, so a sidewalk connecting the two is not gonna be a bad thing.
What are you thinking then, since we're getting into that, like a 6 foot wide, 3 of these tiles,
Is there an ADA compliance limit?
3 feet?
3, that's it?
Usually, if you got people passing,
I do at least 6 feet out.
5 to 6 is kind of a comfortable sidewalk.
6 is fine, that gives people plenty of room to move on either side, ADA compliant. Right,
All right. We don't have any parking. Where we at?
we shouldn't need any parking
Nope.
between the student parking lot and the band parking lot, we'll be fine.
That might have been way early on, thinking we
Might
were.
have been a placeholder.
Well, we added, when you guys did our parking lot, we added 50-some spaces, so we didn't have
No,
any
you're
trouble
good.
last year.
That was just a,
I mean, I'm not saying, I don't know if you have enough or what, but
Yeah.
we don't have to add any.
Well, we need to mark out some ADA spaces closer to this.
You don't have to, so it's your entire complex.
So those ones down by the student entrance now covers us for the complex.
that's right.
But we probably should maybe think about.
Yeah,
adding
it's more if, and that might have been why she threw them on here, is if,
To ask you.
Yeah,
because if you want to make a few in here that comes over.
And I think we've got as part of that connection here was tying into an existing
Curb ramp, that's
access
right.
curb ramp.
There's an 80 curb ramp that we improved during this project, so it would be
One of those, a couple there if you.
a couple
wanted to
right
address it.
there if you want.
perfect. Let's plan on doing that, just to make sure it's done.
So typically, it'll be an ADA space, an 8-foot stripe out, and an ADA space if 2's enough.
I think that'd be fine, don't you? We've got the rest of it down on the other side. I thought we should have something right there.
Good gesture.
For
Sure.
Sidewalk details and whatnot, downspout connections. That's pretty much it on the site. Before we move on, is there anything else you guys want to come up here with a clean site?
You know what we're waiting on?
The good looking stuff?
We're waiting on the rendering.
Yeah,
Let's
so-
go.
Sit down, Brad.
We don't care about drainage, Brett.
All right. Well, if something comes up,
What's the idea and process like? That you drag out, or is that pretty quick for?
it'd be real quick. But they are allowed to have 28 days, but we've been seeing them really quick lately.
And we've had good
Knock
results on our plan.
on wood, Bethany's got a very good relationship with the reviewers. Sometimes we've gotten back the next day. And it's a conditional, you're good. If I come knowing that it's all in line, that they basically say, you're approved, but I may come check you while construction's happening. So it's more like we trust you enough, which is fair, that we don't even have to review it. But I don't mean that in an arrogant way. I'm just saying the last 3 have been that way, and it's like they used to take people through the ringer. It would take months to get through them. But this stormwater stuff is pretty simple.
So we'll try to move through these as quick as we need to, and you guys stop me as needed. We're gonna get into some of the structural information quickly, just showing the structural framing. Obviously, this main section that we talked about is all pre-engineered metal building, and this is, the weight room is its own structural system. Same with the connector portion here. And of note, we kind of talked about it briefly. Since you guys have even seen anything, we did add a small janitor's closet with a roof access that provides a better location for mop sinks, the ice maker, and then the water heater for the restroom. So different things to just make it convenient. So these are all structural framing elevations. Information we've got to tell the pre-engineered metal building manufacturer. Various construction details, all information there. I'll give more of the notes that are particular to this project. And then get into kind of our A sheet, which is our life safety sheet. That's part of what, when we submit to state, we've got to have a life safety showing our egress and travel paths, things like that are being met. There's again, what we do on our life safety, we will know when we submit to state. Right now, we've got 2 alternates, one being the concessions alternate, or actually 3. The second one being these offices here. And that's where those kind of connect onto that janitor's closet we were talking about. The third alternate will be for the interior finish that we'll look at. But once we know, after the bids come in, then we submit to state, knowing if those alternates are accepted or not. So say they're all going, then we show it like this. If only this one goes, then we'll take this part off the plans when we submit to state. It's a nice clean process, so they don't like to see alternates very much anymore.
And that plan submittal, the state is around 10 to 20 days, depending on if they come back and ask for additional information. So it's fairly quick too.
They have 10 days, and then if they wait till 10 and ask a question, then it restarts their clock. So again, this is just kind of showing the details of each alternate for the overall space. You guys have seen nothing besides what I pointed out with the janitor's closet. Nothing's really drastically changed since the last time we talked. And storage and electrical, I think even this was already flipped. If not, I know we talked about it. So this kind of showing the elevations where we tell them, hey, here's your materials, here's what's going on, a little bit of information that the PC needs to know. And it starts translating into more sections as we move forward. So again, it's just telling materials, colors are part of that, information is in the spec, and then we selected during construction. You can kind of see the canopy information. You will note, and you'll see it on the renderings, we've got some screening walls that are trying to hide some of the canopy units up here. So these screen walls, that is a slightly different than what you've seen last, or on these edges. Just didn't want that visual to be as kind of in your face with some of this equipment. We've got a couple of screens up here as well over the weight room. We can talk about another option if you guys don't like the screen is we might raise the parapet wall a little bit higher. This is the roof plan just showing how we're draining the water off the building down to scuppers and downspouts. And with the connector down here, we've got a main drain out the front and another kind of side that acts as an overflow as well. Same thing in the rear here. Everything drains to this main scupper, and then this portion of the roof, because of our height, we're going to demo off this little area of gutter and let that spill down and drain into this scupper. So kind of picking up a little bit of water off the existing roof, but it's just how it worked out from a height standpoint. So we get into our wall sections for the building itself, and then obviously the GC needs that information. This kind of shows like, hey, this is our zone of interference that you don't touch. No matter what we put in there, we've got to have this clear height of 25 feet, so on and so forth, just making sure that they are aware that everything has to clear that from ductwork, goals, things like that. We're calling for most of that anyway. So wall sections here, again, tying back into the front and back, and then we're giving them information about the insulation on the top and or screening and mechanical equipment. Same there. Again, another one looking a different way through the, this is the weight room here. We've got the front windows, the connection to the gym side, and then the small little bleacher areas. What's not shown in this one yet, we've got to get added, is another one of those little screens. So we don't have a line of sight that's hitting this too much. We're going to see the fun stuff with that here in a little bit. There's one of the screen examples on the other side of the connector. Door and frame schedules, jam details, some of the paint details, which we've discussed with the finishes review meeting with some of the user group, obviously. So this is all typical, just we've got to get a schedule. What goes where, what kind of door, same with the room finish. Like there's a lot of selections that you'll see in the renderings. And this starts to get into, here's an overview of what the courts are going to look like. Which is kind of more of a familiarity thing, and then general line colors.
Jason, what ended up being the perimeter for people's? I mean, we added some, like the perimeter, made it a little deeper.
Yep, you're
So
talking. What's that? What's
things
that?
like off
That distance? Is that what you're?
on the floor around right there, from the laid out court to the wall, and we added to that.
We did. We added a few feet.
We just gave a couple more feet. So we're not, we've all been in where you're just like.
So we're right at 11 feet 10, and I think our bleacher system, I don't remember what was right on.
About a 5 foot footprint, right?
Yeah, we added a couple feet to where we weren't like right on the line. Yep.
People sitting in the bottom row, their feet are almost at the line. Like,
So then that, like I said, that's more like the overview, the enlarged court plan, and then this starts to get into, here's your dimensions of your courts and just the requirements there for volleyball, practice basketball, and then our full size.
There is a net that'll drop down between those two courts, correct? Like a.
Yes,
Okay,
yep,
thank you.
and you will see that in the renderings. So that is definitely part of the system. It's all part of the same system as every goal and every volleyball net. We got a couple tweaks here since we added this janitor's closet, but I see the alternates that we're starting to, for your casework, all the information there in the concessions. And then an enlarged area of the restrooms. Some tiling detail that we don't show in the rendering is one thing that was kind of like that nice red tile that was selected for a couple of you guys that were there for the finishes aspect. This is more just the lighting plan, and just to confirm, we did discuss it, and we are meeting the 80-foot candles per square foot recommendation from IHS. So, should be good there. Here's a better example of what you were kind of getting at with athletic equipment, where the front is and that line edge. I don't have the dimension of that, Tony, but it's
Scale.
yeah, it's not right there, and it's not right on that piece. I think it worked out pretty well for everything, you know. This is stuff that we're discussing just to make sure everybody's on the same page on who's providing what. So that's a big coordination item, from equipment to goals, to padding, scoreboards, to gym equipment, or actual weight room equipment there, and the bleachers. So that's what all this athletic equipment plan is about. We're going to put our recommended contacts and our basis of design on there. Now, what that means after that is if somebody finds an approved equal, we've got to keep it an open specification, but if they find an approved equal, we will consider it. If it's not equal, it's going to be the basis of design.
So what, is it pretty much everything hanging or integrated part of the contract?
Everything that's hanging, as far as the goals, is going to be part of the contract for sure, and it's one group. So Porter is the company that we're specifying it around, and then we've contacted an installer, which is Township, that we recommend that the GC has. The weight room, that's one that they gave us that we're speccing it around. Was it Pro something in that industries? Pro Power.
So that is part of the GC package?
We haven't got the 100% clarification. Your AD is looking at.
I sent it to John and Chris today. They're supposed to be looking at
Is it on the
it.
list?
Yes.
Yeah, the list looks good. I mean, there's a couple things that we recommended that were like low budget items that were on there. I don't know. I mean, like holders for the iPads that go on the racks. Like those aren't heavy ticket items. So I assume those were taken off for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, if it's something you guys want us to add, we can. Right now, it's
I'm
it's
getting
not
the
on our radar.
impression if all this equipment is in on the general contractor's bid, or if this is by owner and we're having a.
If you're listed
company
as a
install that
specific
afterward.
vendor, then they can't be on this bid, right? Can we specify
I highly
that?
recommend not putting on the GC bid because an $80,000 package will be marked up 10%.
So when we talked, my recommendation was that the only thing on the bid is the stuff that needs to be installed, like
Hardcore stuff.
physically
Yes.
installed. And if it's a weight bench or something like that, we can have that.
Yeah, I
Right,
highly recommend that.
Yes, and I think that's just where we haven't fully finalized that conversation yet. But yes, we want to
Yeah,
get as much as we
what we'll
can
do
get
is,
out.
we'll kind of make a list then of what we recommend should be purchased outside of the GC contract.
Perfect.
But hanging stuff and everything, I definitely. put on.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't want to mess with any of that stuff.
Yeah,
100%.
that's what I was thinking, usually the big weight room equipment and everything.
There's no
that-
need. if
That's
we
an
can avoid
after,
it.
After you guys are out of here, then we
yeah,
bring in what we
you
want.
guys, even if you had to, I don't know how that works on the vendor equipment type sales.
We'd have to bid it out.
Yeah,
If it's over 50 grand, well, we have to get quotes. If it's under 50, over 50. we
pretty
have
much
to
the
do an
same
RFP.
way,
It's the same process that
Yeah.
you guys are doing, yeah.
yeah, but I would definitely keep that out of the GC.
But we can 100% do that.
Yeah, and right now, we're almost there. And that's what that list is about. But we wanted to make sure we listed everything. And then to your point, if you've got stuff you want us to add for anybody, we can add it and then we'll clean that up.
If it's that little stuff like that, we can.
Yeah, I got a list, but like I said, they're all none of them are
Minor.
overlays.
This is just looking at the water, plumbing lines, hour time where we're taking sanitary in and out. Fire riser diagram, more code compliant information that's required by state. This is looking at your HVAC ductwork layout. So this is exposed round duct that is effectively woven through the structure. So our open web, so you can see it, but it's all going to be painted black, a matte black, basically, just like the rest of the structure and ceiling. So it all kind of blends together, but not ugly if you do see it. The main ductwork is obviously it comes in, up, hugs the structure as tight as we can to avoid any conflict with anything. And around the sides and everything blows that direction, and this side blows down. About everything that's connected to the main units. And obviously the alternates have their ductwork and or units that have to be accounted for. More details, schedules, lighting plan. Again, we were kind of already touched base on that. We've got lighting levels that meet IHSAA requirements. And we talked about the photo cells at a previous, or at one of our finished meetings. So basically a lot of this will be tied to, motion, not photo cell. A lot of this will be tied to the motion in this area so that things come on. We've got a few lights that are indicated here that are emergency power lights. So they've got battery backup on them, so if things kick off, you've still got enough lighting to be able to get out of the building or to be safely egress through as needed. This is power plan. Obviously showing power to all the equipment that's needed, various outlets as well. A lot of stuff going on in these zones, obviously for concessions, restrooms. Heavy amount of detail in here, obviously in the electrical and mechanical space in that corner. And we've got, associated outlets spread throughout the space as needed, and some for TVs. I think we've got some called for the potential speaker system that could be in this location, so on and so forth. One thing, I guess, to button up, I think maybe we will end up showing those grates on the lights in the gym if you want to go that route.
Yep.
Just to make sure, I mean, it's just like anything, if it does get hit and damaged, you're going to have to bring a lift in there regardless. It's also something that could go on after the fact, but if you want to start with it, we can start with it. Put lights on or grates.
I think I'd rather start with it and just plan for it.
Go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We'll make sure. We've already got that called for on some of like the exit lights and stuff that are lower
Mm-hmm.
because we knew that was just too easy.
Well, with all the volleyball equipment in there,
Yep.
that's my fear.
Yeah, and you don't want it to, even if it's just a lens and the light works, you don't want it to deal
Right.
with that. So
Exactly.
I get it. Then this is just telling the contractor everything about what's going where from the panel board perspective and what circuits are feeding to what alternates included. And that is the boring stuff.
Do you need any Ethernet for security system? Cameras?
Will that be included out throughout?
If you've got, that's a good
I
question.
thought we talked about that in the finished meeting. You were going to stub it out for us, maybe?
Yeah, we were talking about, I think, providing conduit and power is needed, but we need to get with whoever you're using, I think, for your maybe camera system now to coordinate.
Yeah, it's Cat 5,
So
Everything we run is Cat 5 right now, yeah.
Cat 5, Cat 6.
And it's powered by the Cat 5, yes.
Now, with that open ceiling, that'll have to be plenty of them up there, doesn't it? Since it's all open.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
No. But this goes kind of back to my GC question. How far? If you want all that to be in on the bid, typically what we will do is run conduits and back boxes to certain locations, and then owners, companies will come in and pull it and make the connections, because usually that security stuff is stuff you don't want
Somebody mark it up.
other bodies.
Yeah, we don't want to piecemeal it.
Mark it up, or yeah, you want to like,
I want it to all talk.
Yeah, you wanted the same group that you control, whereas the GC may not.
so what we would need to do is, you know,
Look where the cameras.
right now, we usually reach out to an owner's company and say, where do you want camera locations? And we make sure we get stuff there so they can shoot a string and pull it.
Vestibule over the concession, covering the whole floor.
So we
Doorways.
can show some recommendations.
I'll be in Cardinal tomorrow. When we stop in. John can tell me if there's anything different now, but the vestibule, the entry, and covering the entire floor.
We need one looking at the entrance to the restroom, looking at the doors.
Yeah, one for the way.
Oh, we need probably 2 or 4 in the weight room. I'm thinking one in every corner looking in maybe. Or, but as long as it is, maybe we need to do one in a corner and one in the middle, like a wide angle.
So, yeah, we can wide pan the weight room, put one on the chin. Just do a wide lens to cover it all instead of a barrel.
And then probably just down each wall, maybe we run a conduit, just where you go from that transition from the brick to the metal, maybe. Just put a conduit there that we can run and pop into where we need to.
Yeah, what we can do is mark up, because we lay out recommended
Mhm.
locations quite often for branch banks and stuff, so we can lay it out and then quickly run it past you guys.
The big thing,
Make sure we're not missing a spot, you know?
and to be honest with you, we'll probably want to put some on the outside of the building too.
That's what I just made note of as well. Looking down,
We're gonna have
Down
to
the
pick
sidewalks,
up
that
the
kind of
parking lot,
stuff.
Because presently our cameras only pick up, we're getting ready to change the cameras by the pool, but they're not coming down east. They're not getting far enough east. So we would have to add up the building out. They pick up more of that parking area, because people are gonna be using it more since it's down on this end.
Yeah, I would think the northeast corner,
Yes.
having one up high that just picks up northeast, and on the southeast
Yeah, corners.
corner,
Mhm.
picking up the band lot and the open yard area.
Yep. Yeah, that
That's a
will,
good idea on the band lot too, because
yeah.
we can access it now that we can. Like,
yeah,
this
it'll be
building
so
out,
much
we
closer.
never had that coverage before.
We'll need all of that, 100%.
We'll put a layout together on them.
So you have a central control somewhere in here.
We have a server box basically that'll handle X amount of cameras, so we'll have to add a new one of those. But we've talked about that for access control too. We'll be putting some new equipment down in that end of the building for the fobs. So it'll be the same basic thing. We'll have to add a DVR or an NVR, whatever they are now.
Mhm.
And
What I may do, you're already talking about that from a door hardware standpoint, so I'm working with Jim in our office, and Tony and I talked this today yet. But we'll probably set up a little sit down with you, and we can review as needed the door hardware and then these cameras at the same time.
I'll print out one of these schematics and mark where I think we'll put need burn cameras and fax that or scan that up to you guys fax.
You got them all. Talk about it. That entrance will have to be a QEL on that north entrance.
Yeah, we can do this. We go back.
You sent a courier pigeon.
I know, right? Send the Pony Express up with a satchel.
What I talked to him about today, John, is that
Mm-hmm.
spec out electric on one leaf for a card reader there.
And then in
Is
the
this gonna
building.
be locked or is this gonna be open?
That's
up?
how
I want
it
it fobbed.
You want, so we would pick these two up.
Yep.
This is gonna have to be one leaf electrified.
Yep.
So them two for sure.
I want that so that if we have just an event in that gym, we can lock that and make sure nobody's getting into the rest of the building.
Right.
If
They
we
can
do
still
that-
egress out, which is no problem,
Right.
but they can't get in.
If we
That's what
do
I
have a
thought.
concession stand and restrooms and all that stuff here, there's no reason for people to be in the other building unless it's a tournament where we're using all the gyms or something like that.
I
So-
guess I'm gonna ask John on that weight room, is that gonna be restricted?
I would like to have fobs on the weight room door.
Are you planning on putting a mulligan in them doors or just open pairs?
That's where we were talking about.
I do want it with the mulligan and the EL stripe. Instead
I
of.
mean, we can
Because they're
wait
still
room
on
now. There's
one
no
of the
reason to assume this one's
CDRs
gonna be wide
in there,
open,
so
right?
Put a mulligan in one.
Oh, it is that last thing, whether it's fob or not.
Stripe in the color.
Right.
One of the two.
Yeah.
Have a removable.
Yeah.
Fobs are easy to
I was
keep.
gonna say, you don't want it removable.
Yeah.
I understand.
Well, that's kind of what I thought too.
Well, no,
We're gonna have electronic fobs on these doors.
buses are not. We're still.
We have a lot of rooms that
Yeah,
a
so you're
lot of
still-
people have access.
You're gonna want to.
Just put removable mullions and both of them will electrify one of them, put a concrete there.
Remind me about that too. I saw
that way
a
we
video
can
of the softball
restrict
bar
who's
moms
using the
coming
weight
through
room.
today. We can talk about that.
Is, you agree with that, Brett?
Yeah, but I just, maybe you covered this. Is there ever a reason you would allow somebody to go in the weight room and only the weight room? I'd throw a wrench in.
It's more like restricted who's going in.
Well, I'm thinking more
You think about putting a door into the weight room?
key fob access right there,
Outside.
like an exterior door.
I don't think
I
that's
don't think we'll ever
necessary.
make that. There should not be a single person ever go. It should be team only,
Yeah.
a class only. It's not for recreation.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking maybe fob it.
Yeah, from the
So it's
inside.
not a free for all.
From the inside.
Yeah,
Yeah,
inside. Yeah, I don't want it out next to your door.
Access to-
Yeah.
yeah, I want exterior access.
If they're supposed to be in there, they can fob into the gym and then fob into the weight room.
Right.
There's no, yeah, I'm okay with them.
Where do we
working a little
land on like these access doors here, just typical keys and storage room locks?
bit. Okay, appreciate it.
Or let these,
I would think so. I mean,
just more of a
Okay, no
common,
problem.
or do we need
Yep.
a fob and that
There we go.
access? That's,
I would think so for storage.
Well,
I just want to secure, whether we use fobs or keys, I don't care. We just,
I'm just wondering, I mean, we're going to fobs everywhere. Is it not
Be done with.
sensible to just
We don't,
do it?
them are steel doors and flushed in frames. If we don't put that conduit in there right now, we're creating either a conduit or wire mold.
That's what I'm saying. If we're doing it, why not do it now? And then we've got it.
So make one of them doors to storage access control with an electric strike and a flush frame. Use standard locking hardware, just put a strike in it.
And the rest of them don't need a key. If you can get into the one with the fob, then you don't need key access to the rest of them. You go in through that one door and then you can come out any of the others.
if you have to have a both, for example.
But here's the thing, fobs are easy to cancel. Keys are hard to get back,
Yeah, they're,
especially to our facilities. Once people get a key to that, they forget to turn them in when they leave. And
And then
a fob I can get online and shut down.
yeah, I agree with that one.
I know we're throwing a lot, but just on them two, weight room, electric, removable mullions. Remex, it's keyed on one side and only one of them fob. One of the two keyed, and then fob on just one of the four doors, please. You agree with that?
Yeah, that's really all you would need, because it's the same space.
Yes.
Save some money, you know.
Save some money.
Somebody knows you have to go to that door if you want access.
But it'd
Yeah.
just be this level, and that's just for RSL, basically.
Chris is right. I mean, we've looked at fobbing this whole building. Still out of reach right now, but sooner or later, that's what's gonna happen.
But we'll plan on more than not, and that'll be part, like I said, maybe next week we can pin down a time and get into the weeds a little bit more, make sure we're all on the same page.
Okay.
While we have the layout up here, have we finalized our rooms there, or is that still an
Those are
option?
alternates.
That will-
Mhm.
I was just wondering, it just crossed my mind tonight. Have we talked about like a trainer station anywhere, or like that, even that janitor's room?
Upper one is.
We do have one?
We mentioned that it could be a trainer room instead of a coach's office, yeah. I don't know that it's drawn that way, but we talked about it, I think, the last meeting.
Or just have it where we could kind
Yeah,
of,
so this
quickly
is furniture that
transform
you
it.
guys will get if you want it.
Two offices. And
These here,
it doesn't have
this
to
is
be.
furniture that's gonna have data and power, obviously, and then this is actually a built-in casework. Meaning that it would be suitable for training if you want to do it, or storage, whatever you need to do from an office standpoint. But yeah, that's the thought, was that it could be a multi-function flex space
I thought we had
for,
talked about
for
it.
changing, training, whatever, an office or a PE teacher.
So what
is
is
that?
This right here, what is that?
That's more like a training room table, like a 3-seat table. That's what it's meant to be. Not a 3-seat, but a cushion, yeah. That's
Yeah,
what they want.
but like a athletic training table, right? Somebody can get up there and get an ankle
Yeah,
wrap.
do you need to get wrapped or whatever it is? That's the thought. Now, that's obviously something that's on you guys. We won't have that in contract, but it's furniture.
Yeah, furniture's easy.
Any other questions before we'll kind of pull up the renderings and give you a better idea of what it might look like?
Anything you don't like coming up, Chris picked out.
Fair. My only question is super small minutia. The water fountains, you have 2 water fountains located in the weight room. Could those be moved on the other side of the wall so that they're access to the gym?
Yep.
We need water fountains in that gym. That was the one I saw. And our kids, if they're in the weight room, can walk right out, fill a bottle, and go right
Yeah,
back.
we can do that.
If that makes sense.
That's fine.
But visitors coming for, like little kids coming for a game, need access to that.
Yeah.
Sorry, small details.
That's the stuff we want to hear though, because it's better to hear now than we walk in there during construction and we're moving rough in plumbing because, you know, like, man, this should be over there.
So we can kind of run through, you've seen some of this, and now we've kind of been involved on bits and pieces. This is going to be an illuminated sign. You kind of see some things coming up. We've adjusted some of the finishes a little bit. We've got some of those screen walls shown to,
How big is the sign?
what is the width of that?
I don't know, but I was gonna ask if like the size of that has all been discussed.
We've not, I just started conversations with signage manufacturer. So we're really on. with
Because
that one.
my question to you, would you like that double?
Yes, 100%. That's exactly what I was gonna say. I don't want it that small.
That's
I want it.
probably 16 feet. Very good.
I want it.
It's.
I don't know, but I think
it's
it
about
looks,
16.
I would,
Yeah.
we had discussed this, just didn't get there yet, but like maybe showing some different size options, but I was thinking,
I mean, I don't want it to be
And that is
ridiculously
like-
expensive, obviously, but I want it big.
Do you guys have any idea how much difference it would be between the price tag for a 16-foot or 32-foot?
I do not know that yet, but that is pretty quick.
we could get that, yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is, like with these screens, you kind of barely see that unit if that's a
Yeah, it's one of,
size out there.
right, we need to discuss, you know, how much you guys want us to show with this, for one, because we could return the screens and come around the sides, or we could make them longer, but I didn't really
Was there a reason why that
vetted it much.
you couldn't put the units up against the high wall?
I'm not sure. I think he did that because he was trying to distribute his duct work a little more evenly. Probably keeping that size down, but
When we talked last, we were gonna put them up against way in, so
Yes.
they're hidden.
right. So I need to vet what if it can be shifted back some. Is that definitely obviously 100%?
Is there a reason why the screens don't just go all the way around and make it look uniform?
That's what I was asking.
Like
If you want
that.
to wrap them around the sides,
If we have to have the screens, I would think it's going to set in about 10 feet, come in, go across, then go back. But I just think this is,
I would like them
it's
as,
not really hiding them.
yeah, to me, that just draws your attention to it, because you got
So
those two
Jason,
things sticking out.
like you said, or Brett and you and Jason say why the screens are there. If you push it back, I understand why they put the units there to save on.
Oh,
I'm gonna
ductwork, but
talk with Aaron about it because when we initially.
If we're saving on ductwork and spending it on screen,
He probably has a
Wash.
good reason why he didn't put them back there.
Yeah, we started out with, when it was one unit, much.
We were gonna tuck them up against the high wall and then duct out for this very reason. But I'm sure he has a good reason.
We'll look at that. So, and I would almost rather, if we have to keep them where they're at, I would almost rather take this up one more one more senior block, take the parapet up just a little bit more, get rid of the screens.
I would too.
This is all very fresh off the presses, kind of a thing, but it's what we want to talk about.
It's not, I think if the screens were continuous, they wouldn't stand out as much.
That's my thinking. I either like the block to go up
It's less of a big
or the
deal,
screen to
but-
be continuous.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Sorry.
No. that's
And the
okay.
screen there in the middle, I want it to go all the way over.
Take it all flush, yep.
Would you prefer the block to go up or the screen?
I would prefer the block,
I
but
think that would, do you think that might be more expensive or?
well, sure, but
This one back here got really tall.
Those are really, those are big units.
You know, but-
as you can imagine.
I think.
I don't mind the screen back there, but I want it to go all the way to the building.
Yeah.
I don't like that little gap there.
Yeah, I think once we get some information on ballpark signage costs, we'll show you some options there and give you some sizes.
Yep.
Like this one is 16 feet, I just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, I want a lot, but I see how much it costs.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
it's like everything, right?
Exactly.
No, we can do that. Like a straight on look, kind of see through and see the equipment. Yeah. There's a lucky slide right there. Now we're starting to get details like our downspouts or wall packs that are on the site lighting, just in general to keep the building facade safe, and then that sidewalk illuminated. We removed the rear signage. At one point, we had another sign here. Again, wall packs from the back. And we'll update this now, front and back, to show that widened concrete area. And we can take this one over as well, John, the screen, we'll
Mhm.
look at. If the alternates do go, this screen is going to wrap here,
Okay.
because it's gonna act as fall protection at the same time. So then we'll look at that one, and you kind of see that at our next.
Is that all new sidewalk that goes, or will some of that existing sidewalk
I
stay?
think it's, existing to here, I can't remember how far out it comes, I think it'll probably be all new, to be honest with you, by the time we do construction.
Basically, whatever the stoop is out of this door, from this point that way could remain, but that and this and my eyes as well.
This
should
doorway,
be-
everything here will be new, everything that way will be old.
I'm looking at a little bit of a night shot showing what it, is maybe a little overexposed, but you get the point, just trying to show what it may look like. And we're starting to go into the interior here, so we're walking in that main front side. You see the restroom connection a little bit.
So that is existing right there.
Yeah, this is all the existing brick. We do have a new column here that we had to put in for the structure that is going to be wrapped in the same matching brick as the exterior.
Do you guys have any luck with finding matching brick?
Yeah, we did. We actually, our contact found what was used on the pool addition. So he said this is the exact same stuff that was used on the pool, or at least on some pool scope, which is a pretty solid match. So we're pretty happy, I think, with how that's going to be. I don't think you can get much better, honestly, because it's the same one. So that's looking, obviously, showing the concessions as if it is accepted. And then having the logo that we talked about could be put in the LVT flooring. So right now, that's the way we're showing it.
I think we wanted the TC block there though instead of script, but that's,
You want to go with TC block?
isn't that what we said?
It'd be easier
Okay.
Yeah.
to visualize.
If we've got the script on the front, that's the one I like the most, so we'll give Chris this one.
Sounds good.
Don't do like this.
Looking at the other way, right now, we're showing wire mold, but we're showing locations of potential providing boxes for 3 TVs in the commons area, 1 in the concessions for workers that are in the concessions. So that you can put advertisements or live stream games, whatever it may be, and that'd be something you guys will have a box and a blank plate. You guys determine when you want to buy TVs and then install them yourself.
Perfect.
I think is where we're landing with that. But we want to show them in the rendering just to convey that. There's another one here. I think there's another one on that wall. And that's the one inside for staff when they work. Concessions. Walking up 2 concessions. You're inside, kind of looking at that new janitor's closet where there's an ice maker, a mop sink, a ladder up, and a roof access. And a little panel that was a good spot to tuck it for everything. These are the actual finished colors, everything down to the door handles. These are all lockable cabinets, and it's detailed as such. Now we're inside the gym, obviously. So we're looking at,
From the weight room.
court information. So we've got, our striping detail, we've got our padding shown, we've got all of our goals, we've got our volleyball. This is the kind of stuff that I think would just be by you guys. You guys determine how much you want to purchase and if you're going to get matching red chairs like you got now. We are showing that logo in the center. There's our tip-up systems. They're actually a little bit bigger and maybe a little longer, but that's the bleacher systems. I think we talked about it in one meeting, but they're the 7'6" length. Both of them together gets you your 15 feet, but we made it the 7'6" so that you can actually get them in your storage rooms easier. If that's something you guys purchase, we wanted to double mention that just so it doesn't get it being accidentally a 15-footer that's much harder to try to store. Advantage a little bit of your logo. Looking across the space, and you can see the divider curtain.
Cool. Yep.
So dividing court 1 and court 2. That's all motorized and same controls. So literally every goal, every volleyball net, and the net is one system, programmable. You can have presets, whatever it is, and adjustable goals. Same thing. Looking back across, and I think we've got our the court finishing that we kind of discussed. We've got a very, in my opinion, a good value subfloor to the basketball or the gym floor, the wood floor itself. It's not a Cadillac by any means, but it's good value. It's going to be breathable, good airflow underneath, and then we're trying to specify around a wood floor supplier that's local. So. Same with installers, relatively local that has got experience with the needle install, stripe, and then finish seal.
And you can refinish that forward.
Yeah, and that's one thing we did discuss. We went with a thicker option so that we've got more there to be able to refinish later.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. Definitely get a lot more life on that option and the pricing information we started with. We like to check that obviously so we know what we're recommending, and it was, I want to say 20 or 30 cents difference between the two. It's a no-brainer. Square footage amount. So this is looking into those office/training room areas, built-in lockable cabinets, landing spot for some furniture if you want to provide a desk, and then the actual training table. We do have blinds there for privacy as needed, and that's going to be specified as well. And looking in the weight room, you kind of see the ductwork we were talking about, but everything's painted a matte black. We do have the sills noted here, just so that there's no issue if somebody's got a sports drink or something inside. Got the mirrors shown on the corners. LED lights, just a clean fixture, with a surface mount on the bottom of the E-joist. And then that floor system is that 1-inch rubber flooring system that we have selected currently. It's got a little bit of red flake in it. Looks really nice for you guys. Color scheme. And obviously, we're looking at some of the windows through the mirrors. And we'll get those water fountains moved to the outside from there.
Real quick, that's just kind of like right out here. Is it what you're fine with? I mean,
Yes,
it should
yes,
be out of the
sir,
way of the bleachers, yeah.
Yeah,
They're kind of right next to the door.
On the north wall.
it's actually going to be a vertical lift. You know, just go straight up.
Okay.
Instead of
Yeah, I would hope that we don't have.
no, that's just
I
kind
would have told that.
of. It's like, why did you point that out?
I saw that earlier.
I was gonna say, tell Rose Flynn, I think we saw it. That's attached to her name.
That was an out of the box garage door.
Yeah,
It was for us to tweak it, yeah.
Exactly. And I didn't notice it looking at 1,000 other things in the renderings.
Are the scoreboards spec'd out to be independent of each other, or?
We'll have 2 per court. So the 2, I guess, will be linked together. I don't know exactly how that works, to be honest.
I thought we said that each of them could show a different thing. Did we not specify that? Each board could show a different.
Yeah, because I think you have to have the controller side of it, yeah.
You might need one for each individual, something going on.
Right.
Wrestling or something like that.
Yeah, if it's wrestling, we need all 4 boards to be active at the same time with a different match.
We'll try to get into the weeds a little more on the control aspect of
I
that.
thought we talked about that too.
Yeah, we can look at that.
Whether we're talking, we're probably have younger kids playing here or everything, right? I mean, like if,
The goals are going to be the adjustable goals down too, so I would imagine all of our biddie ball is going to be in here from here on out.
if I just say those require a shot clock, could a shot clock be put on the, both goes backwards like they already.
I believe that's an interface that's pretty straightforward to add to those. We do have the buzzer notification clock or LED lights on the main goals of the 2 main ports, so the 4 main goals.
I don't see us doing any IHSA stuff down here. We'll keep that.
Just in
dry
case,
today.
you know, even freshmen might.
You may do a summer tourney or something like that, but that's an add-on.
Okay.
You can still purchase that.
The interface with that, I think, is going to be pretty straightforward. And we are expecting, like you said, the buzzer perimeter LED light that's like, as soon as it goes, and that he said was practically pennies.
Practically pennies.
Practically pennies. When you look at the.
Sound like my wife. Got it. She's not watching the live stream.
So
Somebody will better
that's,
know.
I'm sure. I'm
that's
sure.
it there in a nutshell.
Wonderful.
Looks fantastic.
It's not extravagant.
It looks clean on Tony.
It's clean, very functional. I think you guys will be thrilled to have
Frees
it.
up a lot of space for kids getting out
I
of
think it's
school.
pretty an economic build, like for engineering building, it's all gonna be dry fall white paint, right? Good looking, but we're not specking expensive panels to cover the purlins and stuff. And I mean, for our auxiliary gym or practice gym, like we've been in some others that are like that. You know, some you go into and it's like, this is better than our high school gym, but I think this is sharp in my opinion.
We are planning for just acoustical, they're perforated panels. So there's just a lot of little dots, little holes in here for these walls in the perimeter, and that helps obviously just for your sound attenuation. So
Will we be able to hang other things on that wall?
you should be able to.
Oh, yeah.
If you've got,
It's the metal
yeah,
perforated
Okay.
panels.
I just am thinking down the road for
if something
banners
comes up
and-
or what you want.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that should be reasonable.
Okay.
It's like saying, well, I shouldn't say that, but it's, I haven't physically seen it yet, but it's pretty much standard product. That is like a sound panel. They have it in Forest Park, yeah. And
A lot of
the
churches
wall,
use it too.
they screw right to it.
okay.
Every banner and sign hanging in that gym.
I just,
And we'll call for a reasonable thickness that's also livable.
I think that's where
resistance.
we gotta make
and-
sure
and
that
screw
is
it
why I
to it.
didn't want to speak too soon. But I know people like basically.
There's a scoreboard I got on that one, so. Pretty durable for banners and signs.
Yeah.
With these renderings as we have them, you don't see any problem with this coming in under our budget.
We feel like we're still in that range, I
Great
guess.
question.
I don't feel like we've done anything extravagant.
No,
that blows the range that we gave. It seems, what do you say? I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. There's this, everything hanging right there is what I don't have my head wrapped around yet. New name.
we do have numbers on that, like
That,
but,
we had a,
well, I know kind of what they cost 5 years ago, so.
that's where I was getting at. Some of that, when you start tacking on some of them specialty items on projects like this with prevailing wage and everything.
We shouldn't have to do prevailing wage.
Oh, that's good to know.
We're not using federal money on this bond this year,
That's right.
so
Perfect.
there's no issue with that.
We have a sound system in there, is that correct? I saw it on the equipment schedule.
yeah, so one thing that we're gonna have is a sound system that's got its own wireless microphone, and then we're also gonna have the extension of the PA system, so that you can, any announcements are here will be its own separate system. And then we'd have a third audio system, we're gonna say that for the weight room, so that I'm assuming a coach will be allowed to come in there and in some way, we're working through the weeds on that a little bit. But be able to tie in and say, yep, I want to play this, play track or something, whatever. Let's try it. Play this.
Back, like, I was thinking through this project and when we were doing some of the way up front ballpark numbers and looking at it and telling you, here's where we need to be on square footage, and is it 2 or 3 gyms, floor, courts, whatever. I think with where it landed, it's about as good as it could get as far as footprint and layout. It is very simple, but still looks good. The site, at that stage, we're not even into site design. You know what I mean? So the fact that we have these few sidewalks and we have to bring in a little bit of fill dirt, it's a pretty inexpensive site development. No parking lots. So I'm going to say I'm feeling pretty comfortable about it. The biggest, we do have to move the water main that was found, but we all kind of knew we might find something through there because them questions were asked up front. Because it was a street running through there that got vacated, and but we got to bring a sprinkler line in. So some of them numbers up front that we were putting in there for that, like bringing a sprinkler line in.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we have to move that now and just tap right in is part of that. So feeling pretty good.
And I think, when we talked to, the decision to go to the engineer only should have helped us as opposed to conventional in this scenario, so.
Oh, yeah.
Now we obviously will really know here in a short amount of time, but
Yeah, I was just, it's. Bunch over there.
yeah.
Just kind of, one thing, when you look at the exterior masonry and the cost, going up that high. But it's not like we're doing, I don't know, it's just a veneer. If it goes up, what, 12, 14 feet? Yeah.
But we don't want pole barn.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, you remove
That's
that.
the problem.
If we remove that,
I didn't
Remove
want
that,
pole
it
barn.
just
we can use it for
completely-
bus storage. We're gonna do that.
Well, that's next. That's more.
But yeah, I think that have the veneer on it.
Yeah, again, we tried to dress it up and make it fit the context of the school.
Oh, I think it's like you're building now, other than the old part that's historical,
Mhm.
but it's, these horizontal lines, the window, like,
Brick it
I
up,
like it.
very
I like it a
trim,
lot.
trimmed iron. Yeah.
so we just, we'll look at them units a little bit and
Mhm.
just discuss that with Aaron of the placement of them. We
I would
partially
appreciate that.
Get rid of them screens. And then show you
If we can't get rid of them, like I said, I'd like to just wrap the whole thing so it looks like it's part of it.
That's why we're doing this, right? So we can all get on the same page and get what you want.
Then we'll show you the $10,000 sign option, the 20,000 and the 30,000.
We'll see.
You guys can decide which size you like.
And obviously, whatever we do, we're gonna widen this panel to accept it so that it's an accent panel.
Perfect. I like that. I did like that a lot. I just,
And that.
3
that's-
times bigger than that.
Yeah. That is all part of the pre-engineered metal building panels from the manufacturers. The type of panel doesn't have that variation.
Yeah, if that's one panel, put one on each side of it and fill it up with marksman.
We'll look at it. And
Like,
like
get
you
it
said,
cheap.
it should be illuminated. And we'll power it from obviously inside.
So do you need to meet with us again to iron out some of these details before we bid this? put this out?
That's up to you guys. We will make all these adjustments and can send you the rendering and you could go there if you want to just distribute it internally, but
What do you think?
we don't, whatever you need. It's up to you.
It's up to you guys. Whatever you guys want to do.
I think they do too. I would like to be able to get it out.
Just if you would lay out all the small changes, then we, yeah.
Yeah, I think
On
these few touch-up items, and I don't.
Put you where we need to go.
Technicality of board meetings, like.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
send it out and.
I don't have a problem with that. This is for you guys. I already knew all this.
I'm fine with that.
Make that changes, just note them in a file and.
Yeah.
John
Share it with
can Share it
Yeah.
with us. And maybe somebody leaves here would think of something,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then that's no problem.
So real quick, we could go over the timeline then to see if that lines out, because I think it's a great timeline moving into,
Is that what you shared with me today, Jason?
Yes, that's it.
I remember whenever we met the first time, and,
One of our board members was really ambitious.
well,
What are you talking about, Tony?
Jason reminded me, he's like, this timeline's pretty good, because then we took note after I just opened my mouth.
It
and
looked
said-
really similar to something that was suggested.
I said, you're probably looking at going out to bids in April, and then I think that's when Tony maybe was ready to hit me or something, I don't know. But I captured that. Jason's like, well, you look at this, and it's like, we're starting, like, 5 weeks ahead of the game.
All right, where did it be?
Yeah, and that's perfect timing to start a project like this.
We can start any time.
We have some fill to do in earthwork, and you can't start that before April.
Mhm.
You know, so we got, you know, as far as this timeline goes, so yeah, I don't know, was this handed out?
I don't think was.
No, you emailed it to me only. I didn't send it to the board yet.
So I'll just go through it for you guys. So we wanted to meet today, obviously, just to present the project to you and the status. And then the week of the 23rd coming up, we're going to address these comments, which is obviously takes a little bit of time to tweak some things, get it back to you guys to review. But then March the 3rd would be when we're planning to go out to bid. So we'll put notice of bidder in the paper, doing our invites to the recommended GCs. Second notice to bid will go on March 10th. We'll have a pre-bid conference, and it looks like we're tentatively scheduled for March 13th. And that's where we meet with all the contractors, let them walk the site, look at things, ask their questions, and then we sum it all up and with meeting minutes and any potential addendum that could come out of that. That last addendum would be, well, your spring break is the week of the 16th. Then our last addendum will be March 26th. And then the March 31st would be a potential date if you guys are, it's obviously the board's decision, but if you had a special board meeting, then it could be a March 31st, potentially to receive and open the bids. We would give you a recommendation by the end of that week, which would be April 3rd. And then the week, you guys talked about it after that for the week of April 6th. And then your regular board meeting would be April 14th, where you could award project to a board. So feels like it times out well with the season and things like that.
It's part of the bid process and an indication of when they would start. Do we look at that, or we just look at the numbers?
Yeah, we can discuss more of that too.
So, which is a good question to bring up, because that's kind of, when we start building our front end right now, we need to know that. Our assumption was, with it being totally disconnected, that pricing would weigh more than schedule. We're not telling them when they have to start, when they have to stop, because it's just an open field now. But if there's anything we're missing with that, we need to know that now.
Pricing has to be the most important,
Right.
regardless.
It'd be one thing if we're redoing the cafeteria or something, then we have to put very strict window deadlines. But the beauty of this project is it can go into the school year, from what I heard, if I'm thinking that correctly.
We don't want to threaten any liquidated damage or something, because that's just going to drive it up.
And we know for a fact, some contractors, they see that, they're just flat on won't build it, or
Yep.
won't bid on it.
So if I would think low bidder, well, public bid, so we might get somebody that we don't know. Usually around here, there's 6 of them that we've worked with. So it boils down to low bidder, and we would make a recommendation on that. Now, with that said, if low bidder by $20,000 says they can't start until March of 27, that gives the opportunity to go to the next bidder.
Absolutely. So pricing has to be very important, but if they're real comparable and somebody else said they can start sooner,
Yeah, I think to that point, we state that it's everything. You know, we look at everything that they're.
Everything can be considered, but price has to have the biggest priority.
But I would think we're going to see schedules. I mean, people are loading their plates right now, but we're going to see schedules probably anywhere from I can start within 14 days of notice to proceed to I will start in 100 days of notice to proceed.
We would do that on the roofs.
Mhm. Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Because everybody had work.
Everybody, it's we're going through a good time of bidding, but a lot of people were trying to get the bid market out in October, November, where it's just slammed and,
Well, they're looking to do these projects over the summer when kids are out of session, and we don't have that problem.
yeah.
So they can finish the
think
project
people are
in
gonna
August
be
and come start
very-
working on us right away.
This is gonna be, especially with some of the local guys, knowing that there's not then restrictions on it, they'll be all over it.
Okay.
I'm hoping they sharpen their pencils pretty good.
We're doing a project in Du Bois County, and we just found out today that the windows can't be manufactured. That's out behind the Collier, 1.7. We got some explaining to do.
That's the only manufacturer you can get.
It's nice that, that's what they spec out.
We're not getting those windows though.
So 2027, spring.
Yeah, see, that sounds like it reminds me of COVID. It's like,
It's an unbelievable lead times.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
right when I thought that was all coming,
People on the coast.
yeah,
People, they can't build it fast enough. They
Yeah.
Don't have the people.
that
to
is,
talk about that.
The robots aren't there yet.
it's,
Coming.
it's amazing how much work is still out there.
I was stunned. So we can't handle this. They don't have a choice. No amount of money's changing it.
We tried that.
We asked.
Well,
Gentlemen, thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Very much.
This is,
yeah,
looks a lot like what we envisioned a couple weeks ago.
bring back some other cleanup items, yeah.
we'll kind of clean it up and just make the adjustments. And make sure we get all that to you as far as the rendering, and you guys can distribute as needed.
Perfect.
Well, like I said, I'll circle back on a few things like the door hardware and cameras.
Tomorrow.
Sure.
I've got it.
What kind will we talk about?
Meeting in Jasper tomorrow. When I get back, I'll sketch out the cameras and some of that stuff and just PDF it to you.
Sure. Sounds great. Anything else?
Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Brett. Nice work.
Mr. Thomas, would you mind,
If there is nothing else, this meeting is adjourned.
thank you very much.